Hello everybody, welcome back to another pickups video for the month of October 2022. It's a bit shorter, it's a period of time to do some pickups because I got back from a trip and had to do it like later in the month. So it's only like 3 weeks. There is still a decent stack of games to go over, mostly Switch and actually PS5. I've probably bought more PS5 games this month than in like, I don't know, entire 6-month spans since having that system. I can't say it's like I doubled my collection or anything like that. It's not quite that many games, but it was usually slowly but surely, and this month I did end up grabbing quite a few. So anyway, I'm going to start with just a couple things that aren't for either PS5 or Switch. There's not much besides those. It's a lot of much more modern stuff. But we're going to start with this. The Sega Genesis Mini 2 finally arrived. I mean, they really only announced this. It's not like some other things that we're talking about today, where I was waiting a really, really long time for this. They said when it was going to come out. It was about 3 or 4 months off, and I immediately pre-ordered it because of some of the games that were on it. Let's go over that. I can't say enough how much I appreciate, official ways to play some of the games that are on this little mini console, which I haven't plugged in yet. I haven't tried it. It only came 2 days ago, and it's been very exciting to think about it, but I have so much on my plate right now with some of the games that I'm playing and some of the other games that are coming out. So I'm going to be looking at this an awful lot and just trying to make time for it. Hopefully I'll have some time to just plug it in today. But some true highlights. This is for the big fans. This is for the hardcore collectors that want stuff that is out of their price range or they can't find, and there's just stuff. Even if we took out all the shoot 'em ups, and there's a lot of them on here, there's some really, really amazing stuff on this that you just don't see get ported anywhere. Such as Atomic Runner. Like I never would occur to me to have picked up Atomic Runner. I've maybe seen that game once. But just a really, really cool looking game. Pardon me. Crusader of Senti. I mean, one of the 2 most expensive games for the Genesis. Crusader of Senti, an Atlas Zelda clone from, I think, 95 or something like that on the Genesis. And this is an official port of it. This is an official way to play Crusader of Senti. That's amazing. This costs $120 for this little package here, and Crusader of Senti is a several $100 game. And this is an official version of it. It's just incredible to me. What else? What else jumps out at me? Grenada, Hellfire, Herzog Zwei, Lightning Force. The best shooter on the Genesis is on this. Lightning Force. Outrun finally getting some love on some of these, mini consoles from like compilations and stuff like that. Outrun, I feel like, never really gets that much attention. Splatterhouse 2 is on here. Warsong. What a deep cut that is. Truxton, Toa Plan represented well on here with some great shooters. Some stuff that didn't exist before that was made specifically for this console, such as Deviant Pie, and they showed some of this stuff off in the trailer, and I was like, that looks crazy that there's so many of those, and there's even Sega CD games on here, which is so awesome because one of the only things that I don't own or have any access to for my personal collection is Sega CD stuff. So, Final Fight CD, the best port of the original Final Fight. Not that they're games that I've ever particularly liked, but the Sega CD versions of the Echo games are on here with some of that FMV. The classics, the classic FMV games like Night Trap and Sewer Shark are on here. You have to have those. Sonic CD finally getting an official port since the Sonic Gems collection. And Robo Aleste, Sylphied, and Mansion of Hidden Souls. Just a couple. There are 60 total games, or just over 60 games. It's crazy to me. So 12, 41, 53. Yeah, 60. It's 60 here. And then there's a new port of Space Harrier 2 for the Genesis that also includes Space Harrier 1 on it. So technically 61, but just call it 60 games. 60 games, it is jam-packed. That is a lot of games. for one of these mini consoles. So, done putting that stuff over it. Like I said, I took it out of the package to look at it, and immediately failed at putting it back in the right way, and I'm dying to make sure I have time to try it out sometime over the weekend, maybe. I've got one Game Boy Advance game. There's a big hitter, though. It's Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones. I was surprised that this game hasn't continued to climb in price. It's settled down quite a bit, and I was like, oh, you know what? While it's at this sort of lower end, because I do like Fire Emblem. I like tactical RPGs if I'm going to play RPGs. That's why I like Warsong sounded so... Oh, Shining Force CD is on that, by the way. I really, really want to play that. But yeah, stuff like this. Older Fire Emblem, I want to make sure I can give a try to. And then one Dreamcast game. This is, again, not really my type of game usually, but this is Pier Solar and the Great Architects for the Dreamcast. Nowadays, by the way, this is the official Watermelon release, which is what is important about it. You could go online and get a copy of this made by somebody at their house for like $30 with a case and manual and stuff, but this is the Watermelon release from 2015, and I just remember just Pier Solar being a really big deal back in the day, 2015-ish, and I think it was finished on the Genesis in like 2010 or something like that, and it was, I just remember, really just getting into a lot of the other retro stuff that wasn't N64 or other Nintendo things, and just being like, that's so cool because it's not Nintendo. And I think that was what was a big deal about it. So this is a really, really good game from what I've heard. It's a JRPG made to run on the original Genesis. And then this is an HDified version. I guess they bought the rights to upscale it or to improve the game to make it more, take full advantage of the graphics and everything that you could do on the Dreamcast. And this is it. This is a full, really nice package here. From just a very different time in the retro and homebrew community is all I can really say about that. That's why it was so intriguing to me. It felt like something I wanted to get. So we'll move on to Switch. We got some Switch stuff here. Starting with a nice little accessory that I'd wanted for a really long time, and getting a big shmup kick from going to Galloping Ghost. Really hammered it home, and I gave another try and found out that these were in stock on the Fangamer website. Fangamer, right? I think it's Fangamer. I forget if it's them or somebody else. But the flip grip, the Tate mode, Tate, it's spelled like Tate, pronounced like Tate apparently. Mode grip for your regular Nintendo Switch, so that you can pop the Joy-Cons in on either side, and then make the game rotate your screen, and you can play it taking full advantage of the screen as it was intended to be played in the arcade. And I've popped a couple games in here while using this. It's great. It's really fun. It looks nice. Very comfortable to hold, too, with the Joy-Con on the side like this on your regular size Switch. I thought that these were, like, hard to get, because I remember going on to see if I could buy one, like, a year ago or something like that, and they were out of stock. And I signed up for notifications if they ever got them back in, and I never got a notification, and I went to look if you could buy them on eBay, and people were charging like $80 for them. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I hope I can get those, or maybe they'll make them again. And then, because I wanted one, I just went and looked it up, and I'd never gotten a notification or anything, and yeah, they're in stock for $13. Well, thanks. Thanks for telling me. Glad I caught it while it was in stock, so that's really good. Just a cool little thing if you're a shooter fan like me. That definitely seems like something you want to get, and it was great for playing this game in particular. SP Raid or SP Rade or ESP, I don't know how the fuck you say this. ESP Rade Psy. Not Total Plane. I'm in Total Plane mode. Cave shooter from the late 90s that never left arcades. Got ported to the Switch on the Japan eShop, and actually isn't even available on the US eShop right now. But you can order this for like $60 on Amazon sealed from Japan, or you can get it on PlayAsia, or you can just get it on eBay, whatever. But I looked up a lot of people talking about the best shoot 'em ups, because I was in shoot 'em up zone Like, oh my god, there's so many of them on the Switch eShop, so many ports, so many older ones. What do I have to get? So I've wishlisted a ton of stuff, but this game, which I'd seen before, you couldn't get it on the American eShop. I know you can do the whole region changing thing. I know that. But yeah, everyone was talking about this game, ESP Raid or SP Raid or Rade. I'm gonna keep doing that because I don't know how the fuck you say this name. Developed by M2 Shot Triggers, by the way, the port. Nothing but good things to say about those guys. And it's brilliant. I played it. I played it with each character for a bit. It's awesome. It feels great. Total bullet hell cave style shooter. It's awesome stuff. Definitely recommend it. Next from the I forgot I ordered this because it was a really long time ago category, Zero Tolerance Collection from Strictly Limited. This came in like 2 weeks ago, so it was a Strictly Limited Pico Q-Byte Classics. I thought it was cool and I wanted to grab it. I heard that they were doing it. I was like, yeah, let me grab that because I really like Zero Tolerance on the Genesis. It's a first-person shooter, and this is, I guess it's like 2 like unofficial sequels or unreleased sequels, I should say. Just sounds really cool. Like I would love to play Zero Tolerance and see what people have done with it. It also came with postcards. There's a manual inside with just like control schemes and going over the characters a little bit. And there are these postcards on the side, which are bigger than the Switch case, so I have to put it like this with a rubber band around it to keep them together. Don't do that. Stop doing that. But other than that, it looks really cool. This is Vampyr. Vampire. I believe they want you to say it with the accent. Nosferatu das Vampyr. A sort of talk-heavy, dialogue-heavy RPG where you play as a vampire in London in 1918 is what it says here. So good, I got the setting in my head right. And you just interact with all these people. You're like a doctor, and you have to heal them as a human, but also like feed on them and keep yourself secret. I heard really good things about it. I want to pick it up. So that is a cool one, even though like genre-wise, not necessarily going to drag me in. Content-wise and setting-wise, big time. Like 1918 London Vampire. Oh yeah, please do that for me. This is Ikai, however you say it. A lot of horror games coming out recently. Actually, there's a couple more to be talked about today. And I didn't play this over like Halloween or anything, but I did pick it up because I also heard good things about this. I don't usually go for the Japanese-oriented horror stuff. I do like Fatal Frame, but it's also the stuff that like gives me the most, heebie-jeebies and doesn't make me want to stick with it and play it. So, but I did hear good things, and I heard that I should give it a try. So, good. Glad to add that to the collection. Everyone making a big deal about Splatoon 3 finally let me pick up Splatoon 2. Obviously, price drop when a bunch of players for an online-focused game jump over to a new game, but I remembered that Splatoon 2 does have some sort of single player, which is the reason that I would want to try Splatoon 2 before I go and, jump into a new Splatoon game. I did play the first one on Wii U, and I tried to keep up with it, but I was bad at it, and I didn't have the time for it to, stay competitive. So I never picked up Splatoon 2, and that was in spite of it having any type of single player or whatever. I was just like, the series is not made for me at this point, and made for someone who doesn't have as much time to dedicate to one game. So I did just pick this up for first-party Nintendo stuff's sake, and I will play whatever single player comes with it. And maybe it'll hook me, and maybe I'll try Splatoon 3, but for now, glad to just have that. And there's some sort of single player to play. Earth Atlantis. Actually, there's 2 games that go together here. Keeping up. This was a wild, very, very close release for these 2 games from VGN Ysoft Games. And they've been talking about Earth Atlantis for months and months at this point. I was like, where is it, though? Like, you've been talking about it. You said it was coming out. Like, I felt like it was 6 months before it actually released when they said it was going to. But Earth Atlantis, a game I already had on my eShop account. Really cool, like, sketchpad-y, like sepia-toned sketchpad type of visuals on an exploration-heavy side-scrolling shoot-'em-up with just like sea creatures and very like old steampunk look on some of the designs and things. Really cool game. I'm glad to have this on a physical. And these are the Elite editions of these two games. They now make two separate versions, one of which comes with stuff inside of it. Earth Atlantis didn't have a ton. It just has this manual/art book here. But then just the other day, literally 2 weeks after Earth Atlantis, we got Yuppie Psycho, which is a top-down looking. It looks a little bit like Zelda inspired, but with like survival horror elements. You play like you go to an office job, and the office job is, you know, surrounded full of demons and stuff, and you have to survive. And this version has all kinds of cool stuff. You get a little name tag, Mr. Pasternak, not to be confused with David Pasternak. A little email thing that you can open it up, and it also has stuff from the creator and whatnot. A little thing you put on like a bulletin board in the break room with like yoga, which is actually to run away from demons, to be limber up and everything like that. Photocopying, cool stuff. Nice little package here, and definitely a quirky looking and enjoyable looking game. I'm definitely gonna have to give that a try soon. I've played a little bit of Earth Atlantis, but I have not played this game before. And even if I wasn't getting every game that VGNY Soft puts out, just because they're not expensive when they come out, yeah, definitely that looks like a game I want to check out. A silly little, probably not the best game in the world, but just for the fact that Cobra Kai Season 5 came out and I got back into the show. I haven't even finished watching it, but Cobra Kai is actually awesome. So the Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga continues. Just a little dumb little beat 'em up for the Switch. It's on PS4 and everything. It's by Game Mill, so you know my expectations are not great. I just thought it was cool. It has a game, and I'll give it a try. And then last Switch game for today, Bayonetta 3. I just started playing it, and I even was like, okay, you know, Bayonetta 3, I have no idea what's going on in the story. I have played the first two games and absolutely adored them, but the story just, like, in one ear, out the other, had no idea what was going on at any time. So I'm trying to get people to explain the story to me by watching YouTube videos, playing the game a little bit. I've literally done one mission. I have not gotten far in this at all because I want to finish Village, and then the DLC for that, and then I was playing this. There's a very tight release schedule that I am not used to, playing a lot of new games coming out on top of each other, but this is what's happening with me right now. But yeah, Bayonetta 3. I was not going to cancel my pre-order on this. I've had that pre-order for 5 years. I wanted this game for so long. Because like, it's crazy. I know nothing about the lore. It's completely gone over my head in both the first two games. But I love this series. This series is so good and so enjoyable and so fun to play. So, you know, right before the game came out, there was the whole thing with, I forget her name, Helena something, but she was like, they tried to lowball me on voice acting and on the gig, and I didn't want to do it, and you should boycott the game. And I was like, oh, that sucks, because I don't want this to like taint my experience with this game. But you know, somebody else got that job. Somebody else did it. Other people made this game. And then when you ask people to donate their money, you told them to donate to an anti-abortion clinic. So, I don't like it. I don't like that voice actors don't get paid, but I'm sorry. It wasn't gonna take me from not wanting to play this game. I'm sorry. I understand. I get it. But that wasn't gonna fix anything. Me not enjoying a game that I've had pre-ordered and paid for literally 5 years was not going to change. I don't feel great about that, but it's yeah. I'm trying to let it go. One PS4 game, Psyvariar Delta. This is a bullet hell shoot 'em up, and I couldn't believe I didn't have this already. I was positive that I had this for Switch because it's been out for so long, and I didn't. So I had to just pick it up, and we had it for PS4 at work. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know how I didn't have that. And then we got PS5 stuff. Let's get this one out of the way early. I picked it up on one of the last days of our sale last month. Black Ops Cold War. I have not played Call of Duty. I've not kept up with Call of Duty in 5 or 6 years. Even though, depending on what the story was about, I might want to, keep up with that. But if it says Black Ops, I'm a little bit more interested, and Cold War stuff is really cool. And I said, actually, I knew this wasn't going to happen, but I said I would buy it day one if you could kill Ronald Reagan in it. Apparently that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's Black Ops. I always have a little extra bit of soft spot for Black Ops because of how much I played it growing up. And they could do something wildly different and completely ruin it for me, but I don't know. It's getting cheaper. Apsulov, End of Gods. Actually funny that this just came like yesterday because the next game after Bayonetta that I want to finish before it comes out is God of War Ragnarok. And I was like, ooh, Norse mythology, stuff like that. This is a horror mixed with horror, sci-fi, and Norse mythology. And I'm like, that sounds like it would be awful and a complete mess. But I keep hearing pretty good things about this, so yeah. So yeah, I guess if it's good at all, I feel like I have to play this. So it's definitely going in the backlog more so than the oh shit, I gotta play this. But it was like $20. There's a lot of these horror games, like the next one I'm talking about too, the Medium, that are like, oh my god, there's so many fucking horror games coming out on PS5, and I have to find out what the good ones are and what the bad ones are, and I keep looking and I keep looking and I keep looking, and I'm like, please tell me that this one's bad so that I don't think I have to play it at some point. But Apsulov, End of Gods, I kept getting good things about it. Ikai, I kept getting good things about it. So, I picked them up. The Medium, I will say, I have heard some bad things about it, but the good things make it much more in line with the stuff that I do want to play anyway. And also, it's made by Bloober Team. Bloober Team is awesome. They made Layers of Fear. They made Observer, which I still have and haven't played yet, and they're making the Silent Hill 2 remake. So there's still plenty of reason to trust Bloober Team with things. The Medium, I just heard had a rough ending, and maybe it kind of soured the whole experience for some people, but I will experience it for myself. So looking forward to that, actually. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, a cool, chill, just very chill looking, like, 3D platformer, that just looks very pretty and cool, and so I had this on my list for a while. I picked it up the other day. And then lastly, I had to make myself not buy this game so many times over just because the wanting a PS5 physical game, to start building the collection has been so strong for such a long time that Oddworld Soulstorm, when it came out for PS5, I was like, oh, look at that. It's got Steelbook and everything. And I'm really, really glad that I didn't pick it up until very recently when it's under $20 now. And I never played it when it came out for free on PS Plus because that wasn't as fun as getting a physical. But yeah, look at this. Hey, it's a Steelbook and that's it. So yeah, it didn't really matter that much that it was a slipcover Steelbook version. And I haven't really played any of the Abe stuff for Oddworld, so I don't know why I would jump right into this one other than wanting something to play on my shiny new PS5, which I think I've got plenty of to do now. And I still went and played Village again. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this month. That was fun. With so much on my plate coming up, like I said, I've got Bayonetta, I've got God of War, I've got Pokemon. And like that plus going back to Resident Evil DLC, this never happens. I am never this like, ooh, this game's coming out, I have to play them all. I'm not like that. I've always got like indecision on what games to play, and right now I'm like, I have to finish this game. I have to play one game and finish it before the next one comes out. So yeah, this is a weird feeling for me, and I don't know if I'm going to buy that many games, but it's a very, very clear divide between these and the fact that, yep, playing this one. Everyone else go away. Playing this one. So we'll see where we're at next month for that. Later today, or like right after this, I'm going to finish up Tony Hawk Pro Skater. There's not so much I can do on that for a stream, but a second part of the stream where I play a later level in the game is mandatory. and then we'll see what else happens from there, because like I said, got to play Bayonetta, and I would like to make some time for that Genesis Mini, but we'll see. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next month.